Hello everyone. In today's video, I'll be showing you the Stafford Gambit, which is a response to our opponent's e4 opening. And the reason why I like the Stafford Gambit so much is because just after 4 moves, you have so many different traps that your opponent will fall into. And these traps don't depend on one singular move, but rather they can depend on a lot of different naturally developing moves, a lot of different moves that may seem really natural at first, but in the end, they fall right into your Stafford Gambit trap. So let's get started. So first of all, the opening goes like this. Once your opponent goes e4, we respond with e5. They hop in their pony, and we hop our pony in return. And once they take here, we go here. And the point of this move is to basically force a knight exchange, because if they are to go back in any other square, we would just take back this pawn. So they go here, and we go here. And now we're going to be taking a look into one of the more common responses at the beginner and even intermediate level, which is this. And the idea here is after we go here, one of the most common moves is to go bishop here. Because the whole idea of going pawn here is to open up this bishop. And it would be really illogical if you were to move your queen or something, because you moved your pawn, right? And at the beginner and intermediate level, they're gonna go here because at the end of the day, it's a really natural move because you're pinning the bishop and you're threatening to trade off the knights. But in the end, this is a blunder because we have this fascinating move, which is knight takes here. And the idea here is that if they take the queen, which is a free queen, they just fall into checkmate. And if they were to take this with the pawn, they lose a queen, because if they were to go here, we just take the queen. And if they were to go here, we skewer them, they have to take the bishop, and we just go here. And hopefully from this position on, you'll win the game. So let's say the opponent does not play a move like this, and they play something like, say for example this, which is once again a really logical move. You're trying to kick out the horse, but notice how none of his pieces are developed, which means we can just hop our pony in the center, no problem. And after they go here, which is once again a blunder, we can just hop our bishop here. And this is kind of the same position you see from the last position, where we sacrificed our queen, but this is kind of different. Let's just go back here. So takes, take, boom, push, boom, boom. This is kind of a different position because the bishop is not here anymore, but it's still the same idea, because if they take here, we go here, takes, and we win the queen. Simple as that. And I would say their best move in this position is to go here, and after they go here, this is still kind of losing for white because this weakens, because taking the pawn here weakens this diagonal. Therefore we can go for a check here, and their only move is they could go here, but that's just mate. And so their only real move is to go here, and we can just sacrifice our knight once again, threatening a discovery check while also pinning this. Because if they take here, we just take the rook. So yeah. So look at how many traps there are already for the Stafford Gambit, and it's basically all of these can be seen as like natural developing moves for like other openings, but for this one specifically, it's actually a trap. So yeah, now let's look at another really common response. Is after you go here and we go here, they go here, and in this position, we wanna go move our queen here, cause we're threatening checkmate first of all, and if they try to kick out our queen, we can once again just sacrifice our rook, cause we get a free rook in return. We can just check and we get a free rook. And once again, same idea as the last time. If they take here, we just take once again the rook. So that's another trap I want you guys to memorize. Yeah, let's see. So let's look at another response that you may often get, which is a really naturally looking response, which is knight here, and it protects the protects the pawn from this attack. And what I want you guys to do is to do the same as usual. Develop your bishop here. It always stays the same. This never changes. And after they go, say for a move like here, we can't sacrifice this horse anymore because the knight can just take. But what we can do is we can go the other way. We can attack this fork, similar to the fried liver attack. So yeah, and I think this is like just losing for white. I don't know how they stopped this, even though the evaluation bar says plus 0.8. Oh yeah, their best move here is to stop this using the bishop to prevent this fork. But we can just simply take back. They take back their pawn, and now we regain the pawn we gambited earlier, and look at this suffocating position for white. There's like no way for his pieces to go because this bishop is controlling all these important squares, and there's no real way really for white to attack because the horse can't hop in here because the pawn is like taking the space. So yeah, you can continue going into the middle game as usual. Just develop your pieces, look to castle, and I think you would have a really comfortable time winning with this position. Another really popular response after this knight move is to go bishop here, and this is obviously once again a really natural looking move. It develops a bishop while also preparing kingside castle, but once again we have the same idea, which is knight here, threatening this fork. And basically a lot of intermediate and beginner level opponents will obviously castle, and now we hit them with this deadly move, which is probably even game ending, which is queen h4. And the idea here is to not only threaten checkmate, obviously your opponents will stop that, but also to threaten this really weak pawn. Look at how many attackers you have on this pawn, right? There's a lot of attackers. It's going to overload the pawn really quickly, and yeah. So the opponent's best move is the only move I would say is probably here. This is probably a forced move, and we can just take here. And they're going to be attacking the queen, and the opponent will probably move it away either, let's say here, but here this is actually winning on the spot because you have mate in, mate in 3 probably, because you go here, 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 and that's just checkmate. And the pawn can't take because it's a discovery check, double check, one of the rarer moves in chess, which is a double check. And once they go here, we have another double check. Look at how many double checks there is. And the king here is forced, and we just checkmate them. This is a really beautiful checkmate, actually, and you'll be surprised by how many times opponents fall for this. I'm just curious. Let's see. If the opponent were to move here, it's also mate. Because here, 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 yeah, that would also be mate. So the opponent would have to be really careful when playing as white, because one natural looking mistake, one move that you think looks right but is actually wrong will like cost you the entire game for white, which is just like how deadly the Stafford Gambit is. It's crazy. Alternatively, another way that white could play this position other than castling is to go queen f3, and the idea here is really simple. It's to threaten checkmate, and it's also kind of protecting this pawn. And in this position, you got to remember this really crucial move, and quite beautiful actually, is this move, which is knight e5. And it has 3 purposes. One is to threaten this queen, one is to put pressure on this bishop, and another one is to protect this from checkmate, protect the king from checkmate, which is really nice. And after this, say for example, the opponent goes somewhere like queen here. Now we have queen h4, and once again the Stafford Gambit is all about attacking, utilizing all your pieces, because the whole purpose of sacrificing that pawn in the first place was to open up the entire diagonal in the center so that your pieces can easily develop. For example, your 2 bishops, your queen, and even your knight, right? So that's the principle behind the Stafford Gambit, and we're just targeting this piece and putting more pressure on it. And say for example they play something like this, we can now have this really sneaky move, which is queen h3, which is to prevent the king from castling, and overall just putting the king in a much more uncomfortable situation. And after a move like here, we can go bishop here, targeting the queen, and after queen escapes somewhere, we can now longside castle, and look at this attack we have. It is just quite deadly, because once again, after this, we're threatening to take the bishop, because this bishop is pinned, this pawn is pinned by the queen. So there's still a lot of traps and a lot of tactical tricks, even after the Stafford Gambit opening. And also, like, there's a fork, like, straight up. So, yeah. And let's look at, once again, another response that Black have after queen h4, which is, instead of going here, they just, like, develop normally. And they go, like, d4 something, locking the bishop out. And in this move, we can just go bishop g4, attacking the queen once again. And if it escapes, we can longside castle, once again looking to attack this bishop due to this pinned pawn. So really nice overall, just a really nice gambit, and a lot of tracks, a lot of tricks, a lot of traps, and yeah. Like, look at all this pressure, man. You have the queen and bishop staring down here, you have the horse staring down this, and you have the bishop just like basically putting this queen in jail. Like, the queen has nowhere to go, and the queen is like basically trapped. You could say the queen is trapped. So that is the end of today's video for the Stafford opening. I hope you guys enjoyed the video and start tearing up your opponents in whatever elo you're in. And if you have any questions about this opening and what to do when an opponent plays a move that I did not cover, please feel free to always reach out to me through the comment sections below, and I'll be more than happy to answer your questions. In the meantime, please consider subscribing as well, but it's obviously not mandatory. And in the meantime, please enjoy the rest of your day.